into the room, and I knew I was doomed to fall for you. The moment I saw you smile, now everywhere you go, my eyes follow close, and I'm just waiting for the time to be right to tell you how I've loved you for a while. Oh, my heart is going wild. You wear me down like when the sea meets earth. I fade away just like the rocks have worn. Don't you see what you do to me? You keep crashing into me. I keep turning out to be something more than what I was before. Your skin touched my skin, and I could feel the breaking of my cold stone heart was about to begin. The moment that we locked eyes, now everywhere you go, my eyes follow close, and I'm just waiting for the time to be right to tell you how I've loved you for a while. Oh, my heart is going wild. You wear me down like when the sea meets earth. I fade away just like the rocks have worn. Don't you see what you do to me? You keep crashing into me. I keep turning out to be something more than what I was before. Like when the sea meets earth, I fade away just like the rocks have worn. Don't you see what you do to me? You keep crashing into me. I keep turning out to be something more than what I was before.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's been good to be back. It was weird not being here yesterday. Had a bit of a meeting to go to. For those of you just joining, I'm Kai Ariana, and I am a cross stitcher as well as other artistic endeavors, which we will be getting into after we move next week. So today we're going to be continuing the Carousel horse with our little ruffle butt here. Abundance, thank you for the host. Greatly appreciate that. And let's just dive right in. If you weren't here for my stream on Wednesday, I got to my follower goal and I am now an affiliate with Twitch. So, yay! That was kind of exciting, and to everyone who was here for that, thank you for showing up and being here. Hi, Elf! Oh, Elf! Thank you for the bits! No, of course, Bun. Yes, by all means, lurk all you need to. Yep, so we're continuing on to Ruffle Butt on the horse tonight. Cucho, thank you for the sub. Oh my, I got my first sub, and it's my husband. Sorry, Cujo, there's no emote yet. We're still working on that. I have a little bit, but then it's going to get food before work. Oh, yeah. That's right, you're working third shift right now. I appreciate you stopping in and giving the cheer. Are you Kermit flailing over there, Cujo? I will get you. I will work on getting an emote so that you can play with an emote and show off that cool emote to all the other streamers and make them jealous. All right. So I didn't finish up this color on the stream on Wednesday, so I'm just going to finish it up now. And then we're going to actually move off the ruffle a little bit. Unless you run really late, I can listen to streams at work. I'm not sure how late I'm going to run. Definitely going to take a break in about an hour for the baby. And then it might just see how it goes and how tired I get. Even on my days off, I still have to wake up early because the baby wakes me up. We'll play it by ear. Lately, my streams have been about 2 hours. I'm open to going a little longer than 2 hours. It really depends on how tired I get. So I'm actually going to pop some green in here tonight. After this color, we're going to move into some of the foliage. Kai, I can't speak today. Not that I'm sure I ever could. So, yeah, get some green in there on the foliage on the ruffle butt and further work into the ruffle butt so that we actually can enjoy saying that word even more. Though today, my little one was in her Donald Duck costume, and so she was showing off her duck butt. Upside of no seating at work makes it hard to fall asleep. Downside, all of my joints work. Oh, Cujo, thank you for the bits. You don't have to do that, but thank you. Are you just trying to play with the bit glass, Cujo? Alright. Maybe a bit. Oh, yeah. Cujo became a dad, and the dad jokes got bad. Or did you just have to be number one at something? There we go. Not too much more of this color, and then we'll get to move on to another color. Yay, other colors. Don't get me wrong, I really love the way the neutral colors look when they're all stitched together, but stitching them on neutral fabrics is never my idea of fun. Alright, so there we go. 2 more stitches on this color, and then move on to some green. Put a little more color into this carousel horse. Is this text too small? Thank you for the bit, Cujo. Are you just playing with things now? On see how it looks on the stream. I can always... That is small. I can always put it right in the center of the work here and just take up everything. I know you said that kind of was something that drives you crazy, so... Hey, Fatal! Oh, no, I understand. Good to see you. You're in gaming anyway. Oh, in gaming anyway. Okay, I see what you're saying, Cujo. Yeah, Cujo, one of his complaints is with streamers who have, game streamers who have, they're playing a game and then all of a sudden their alert flashes right here in the middle, taking up the whole screen. And I can see where that could be kind of annoying. Let's see. All right. Two more shifts pays the bills for the month. Hey, yeah, that sounds good. Figured I should leave it on what it's looking like, so it was I'm dealing with floss that we're not looking at nothing, or the back. This is actually, this one, the back's turning out to be pretty neat, for a Teresa Wentzler black back. Wow, Kaya cannot speak today. In my defense, I was outside part of the day. Let's see. So we're going to move into some green, and one thing that I've noticed with cross-stitching patterns is when you start to see the same designers use the same color palettes a lot, and was noticing that also with this pattern. It's like, wow, I've seen these same exact colors in color palettes for Teresa Wentzler before. So you slept for most of the day, had about a 3-hour block at noon. No, you were awake. Okay, yeah. I've worked some third shift shifts, and it's just, for me, it was brutal. I was doing it and going to college at the same time, which I was a zombie in my class, because I actually attended. Most of those classes when I was in school were physical. They were starting to do online and hybrid courses, but this course I had to take was in person in a lecture hall, and it was tough after being up all night, taking a quick nap so that I could go to class. Alright, so we're doing a blend of colors here. We're doing a combination of 522 and 502. And if you've been stitching the goose, you've had a lot of... Where did I put my needle? I don't know where I put my needle. I did not put it on the needle. I put it on the back of the needle minder. Oh, wow. I'm all sorts of pretty today. Your body is also complaining you're currently living on ibuprofen. Well, don't live on too much ibuprofen. Just the right amount. So if you've been stitching on the goose, and I would show my goose, but I actually have been packing a lot of stuff because we are moving next week. My goal is to have 2 more streams, one for sure next week, maybe 2. It's really going to depend on the packing. But so I will have at least 1 stream next week, if not 2, before we move. And then I'll be about a 2-week hiatus to move, go camping, and then get back into things. So seeing how the work schedule works and everything. Oh. Hang on 1 second. Cujo, the TV's on in the kitchen. So in this apartment, opposite me, I can see into the living room, and there's a partial wall that divides the living room and the kitchen. And when when my husband cooks, he likes to be able to watch TV and whatnot. So he has a TV mounted on this wall that mirrors what's coming from the TV in the living room. So we forgot to turn it off. Figure I'm still not touching the prescription level. You'll be fine. Yeah, you could. It depends on what I need. Sometimes I do have to touch the prescription level amount of ibuprofen. I do have a bottle left over from after Annika was born. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. So we're going to move into some green. Yay, some color showing up. I do enjoy cross-stitch patterns with lots of color. I think they're a lot of fun. I like switching between colors. A minimal palette's fine as long as the colors to me jump out. I don't need every cross stitch pattern I do to have 40 some odd colors. That's just a lot of floss. Sorry, trying to keep that in frame for everyone. Still fighting with that. This table is not ideal for what we're doing. But again, with the move next week, we will have a better better table setup and be able to not be so far away from where the cameras are mounted. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry for kind of zoning out here. Wish you guys could all see the other side of what I see. I'm like in my own little box for it now. It's kind of awesome. We there's a lot other than there's nowhere to go. And it is kind of freaking out the dog a little bit because she's super concerned and super worried about what's going on. I've reassured her many times that she gets to come with us, but you know, she's a dog. She doesn't always understand completely. These have 2 days off before I have to work again. That's the only thing saving me right now. Yeah, I I know that feeling. 2 days off really helps kind of get your brain reset. Yeah, I've been off all week because I usually have Saturday, Sunday off, but I changed my days off for childcare, which is all moot now that we're moving, and which I'm showing after these couple weeks, I'm changing my days off back, and but this whole week I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday, and it's really Tuesday to the rest of the world, and I was just completely like forgetting what day of the week. I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. Saren's got a stream tonight. No, no, it's Tuesday. There was no stream. It was definitely my brain was all befuddled, and I couldn't remember what day of the week it was. Which will probably happen again next week, and that won't be fixed until we get home from camping, and then it'll take a week, and then I might know what day of the week it is. But I won't hold my breath on any of that. There's another person leaving work, and that's formed last week. Gee, I wonder if there's a problem. Possibly one person being fired and another leaving in August. That looks like your job is bleeding people. Sorry, I can't find where I'm going. There we go. Alright, 2, and then... So I haven't done much stitching this last week. I've kind of been, other than on stream and a little bit at work, that I've been in a little bit of a stitching slump. He flat out told the shift supervisor last night that they won't be able to keep the people around unless they bring up the wage. Started making excuses about how they still have to make a profit and that the owner isn't sure how to make up for the min wage hikes every year. Um, Maybe you don't make as much as a profit. I know that's the thing with capitalism. It's all about making a profit, but yeah, people aren't going to work somewhere that they if they can't afford to live, and you're only willing to commute so far away from where you live to a job. Mm, alright. So I have been in a tiny bit of a stitching slump. A lot's been going on, getting ready to move. So my goal to get the page I am working on for my fish stitch this month may not happen, but I am a month ahead, so I probably will be okay. There we go. And now we got a leaf. Yay, leaf. Shift supervisor isn't something you get along with, so you're BSing it right now. Yeah, I've got a few of those at my job. Some managers and some shift leads. It's just like, yeah, okay. I'll do my job, I'll go home. Alright, so where are we going next? Still working on this color. Okay, I can go 1, 2. Down 2 squares from there. Okay. And 1 and 2. All right. It's just her and you on at night. Oh, that's got to be rough, especially if it's someone you don't really get along or like too much. I've got a couple of those. Yeah, I've worked in locations where it's just 2 of us, and that's like the other person I'm working with is like, okay, you're not someone I really get along that well with. And I play nice. Most of them think I like them, but I really don't. But I know how to play nice. Last night, first night shift, she tells me to go dump the mop buckets out, but never tells me where to dump them. Yeah, that doesn't work. It's like, okay, this is my first night shift on. This wasn't covered in my training. I do need to know what to do. So I get that. Well, I wish you luck, Elf. I hope it doesn't end up being too much. And if it is too much, and when you ask her, she got mad and is like, "You don't know where the tub is." Yeah, I like. I've worked with managers like that. It's nothing but frustrating. I would rather have someone ask me and then assume and then make a mistake that could be wrong, or especially if it's something like dumping out that could potentially have chemicals. And when I worked in food service years ago, I mean, we had designated dump like stuff for the mop buckets and things like that because you had to have a place, especially when you're handling food. All they use is hydrogen peroxide cleaners. Okay, hydrogen peroxide is good for some things, not all things. Sometimes you need things like ammonia and bleach. And if they're worried about the environment or whatnot, simple green's not that bad. Yeah, in a gym, you may want some bleach. At least I would want to use bleach. There we are. Okay, we are go. Or I've did not lose where I was going because that's so easy to do sometimes. They do a green Windex. They do a green Windex they use, but I don't know what the main component of it is 'cause they don't have an MSD sheet. Don't you have to have MSDS sheets? And none of their chemicals are in properly labeled bottles. Wow, this place is all sorts of work needed. Heck, I don't even work with chemicals, and I had to take all the stuff on MSDS and chemical components and all that, though those classes at work, just because I could be around it, even though I don't use it. You could seriously get them in trouble for that. Yeah, anonymous report to OSHA. All right, yay. Well, looks like after this little blob, I'm going to be moving back into another color, but I'm glad we had to put a little spot of green in here because I do. My favorite color is blue, but I really do enjoy what green can do for something. So I really am liking the green in this. Oh, and yesterday with no notice to members, they closed showers at midnight and left us to get yelled at over. Yeah, get out of there, Elf. You need to get out. Yeah, get out of there. Well, pay off your bills and then get out of there. Yeah, I've worked in customer service long enough to know that that's not good ideas across the board at all. And when one of the members was arguing with the supervisor, he tried to pull me into it, and I said I wasn't going to get involved. She told me I should never do that again. Wow. Yeah, be a supervisor, take responsibility. I have worked as a shift supervisor, basically. Technically, I still could do that job if I really wanted to. And I was responsible for lots of people and a whole big area. And if something went down, I had to step in and be there. It's like, if I had to, I'd escalate it to the person above me. But usually I tried to get it to stop at me because that was my job. 'Cause it wasn't your decision, and I don't know if it was the supervisor's decision or not, or whether it was something from higher up, but it's not. That is the whole point of a supervisor, is to take the heat off the regular hourly workers. Alright, we got a couple leaves in there. There we go. Yay! Alright, we're going to move on to another color. We'll see what... And which will actually take us a little bit back into the ruffle of the ruffle butt. Closing was higher up, but she told the guy he could go shower and then showed up 5 hours later instead of immediately. Yeah, I could see where that could be a problem. Yeah. Isn't the public fun? Okay. So since that was a blend, we are going to put that on the card. So when you're working with blended colors, what I and a lot of other people I've seen do, I actually bought some project cards a while ago because they were on sale. So I have this card, and I've got on it, you can see I've written in pencil so I can reuse it, and then I've got the colors coming off of it so that I can find them again and keep them neat. And then I had to laugh at 6 a.m. The guys were ignoring the caution tape and closed shower signs and were showering anyway. Yeah, at 6 a.m. you got people coming in to work out before they go to work. So yeah, they're going to want showers, and they're going to take showers. And frankly, if I worked with those people, I would be thankful if they took showers. Let's see, upside down F is 842. 842, which I know I don't have out right now. Though on a kind of random happy note, I thought I was not going to have enough of 341. I found a whole skein while I was starting to pack things down, so that was kind of exciting. 842. 841. 842. Go. I'll need 841 later, I assume. So this is a beige color, which should show up alright. Maybe not as well as the green did, but definitely better than the white and the cream did. So this is just a single color, right? Alright, where are we? 842, yeah. I got cheap and just had a pack of Carousel. I cut into strips and punch holes. Might not as last long, but the pro version. But I can get one project out of each strip. 3 strips per page of Carousel. Oh yeah, no. Like I said, I picked them up on sale at Michael's or something a while ago. I usually just take a piece of cardboard and do it that way, or whatever I have around that's thicker than paper, cardstock. That's usually what I do for a project card. I just happen to have some nice ones, so I'm gonna use them. I used it same for the goose because I have a pack of like 3 of them, and I'll definitely reuse them because there's no reason not to. Oh, good, our old cereal boxes, not a bad idea. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where my hole punch is right now. I've got one. I might even have 2, but yeah, on my fish, it's got 1 blended color, so I just borrowed a business card from work, and I punched a hole in it, and I'm using because it's only need 1 color, so I just put it like that. All right. There we go. All right. So back into the ruffle of the ruffle butt. This one doesn't have too many blended colors, which is nice. I've done projects that are just so many blended colors, and the blends include blending filament, which is a metallic-y plastic stuff, which is kind of a pain to work with. This one doesn't have too much blending filament. It's it will be in backstitch and in the gold pole of the unicorn, the carousel horse. So that's not too bad. I can handle that much blending filament. I remember the first project I did that used blending filament was the Celestial Dragon, and it was something I'd never worked with. I was so frustrated with it by the end of the project that I swore I would never work with blending filament again. And then I got some patterns that called for blending filament, and I tried it again, and it was just as frustrating, but I learned a lot of tricks, so I'm more willing to work with it now than I was. I would not recommend blending filament for someone who's just learning to cross stitch. It will make you want to give up cross stitching. I've not worked with metallic DMC. Or like the Light Effects DMC, which is kind of metallic. I have, however, done a lot with the Krennic number 4 braid, and I really like working with the number 4 braid. I think it unravels a bit, but it's not too bad. I don't think I have anything with an example of it. I do have some number 4 braid handy though, so I can show it off if anyone is curious. But the number 4 braid, you just use one strand of and use it. I like the use of it. I like the way it looks on the patterns that call for it. And it comes in so many different colors. Not quite as many colors as the full line of DMC. The braid holds up than the DMC. The DMC is generally easier to get hold of. I order all of my metallics online. I go through. I found a local needlework shop online on the East Coast, and they've usually had everything I've needed, so I just order from them. And the shipping's reasonable, and it gets here pretty quick, so definitely willing to go after the Krennic braid, especially when the pattern calls for it. There we go. Okay. It's gonna be one of those with skipping around color-wise. Okay. But on to the ruffle butt. Okay, now decide if it's worth carrying over or cutting and restarting. It's not that far. I'll just carry it over. And it is... Boy, is that a tiny symbol. We'll see how much of this ruffle butt we can get established tonight. And if we can get the ruffle done before I move, that would be amazing. Okay. Oop, I did go into the wrong place. Your old Toronto project calls for number 4 braid in a certain color, but it's not made in that color. Only number 8. So do you get the number 8 or do you substitute? Is it a discontinued number 4 color? And you double checked Krennic's site just to make sure. Because most of the stuff that comes in number 8 comes in number 4. And better question, what... It was never carried number 4. Okay. What count are you working on? It's not listed on Krennic's site at all. Okay. Possibly discontinued it at some point. (28/2). You can do number 8 braid, I think, over 2 like that. So it's like working on. My only concern is with 28 count would be the size of the hole. More than anything else. Like if you're doing it on 14 count, it might not be so bad. But since you're working on 28 count, I could see where that could be a bit of a challenge. And if the braid was cheaper, I'd say, oh, just get it and see how it turns out. If you don't like it, start over. But yeah, the braids, they're not super expensive, but they're not cheap. Let's see. Okay. Might be worth substituting a color. Getting the rest of the colors for the pattern and then deciding, and looking at the number 8 braid and then deciding if that is a similar color could work in your number 4. Alita11, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Welcome to my duck pond, which has no ducks in the pictures. We were working on that. We're working on my summer carousel horse. Cross stitch on 28 count Joblin fabric, and we are currently working on a ruffle here on the butt of the horse. One duck here. Are we talking about what duck are we talking about, Cujo? You have at least, yeah, there's lots of, I forgot, I'm using my duck grime guard. There are a lot more than 2 ducks in my grime guard. Lot more than 2 ducks. There's a duck up behind me. Okay, Cujo, whatever you say. Yes, ruffle butt hype. After you were posting your ruffle butt pictures, I thought, like, yay, ruffle butts are awesome. So, yeah. I realized that my little baby does not have anything with a ruffle butt on it. We do have... She was sporting her Donald Duck costume because I'm a big fan of Donald Duck. So she did have a duck butt, which is actually super adorable. Now, let's see. Now, where are we going? Okay. So, Lita, I know you crochet. Do you do any other crafts? I don't think I've tuned into your streams. I think I've seen you live. Just haven't had a chance to tune in. There we go. My goal is to get the ruffle part of the ruffle butt done before I have to move. We are moving to a bigger place in a week exactly. We leave a week from tomorrow. We will be moving, and I hate moving. It stresses me out. And my husband Cujo has been absolutely amazing and wonderful, and by taking the lion's share of the packing. I got out of the house today. Took the baby to Disneyland, and we tried to meet Donald Duck, but that didn't do so well. And then we watched people try to pet baby goslings and almost get bitten by geese, which was very exciting, because don't mess with geese. I will probably having to take my break here in a little bit. My little one's getting very upset, and it's almost time for her bedtime. So we'll do a break. I'm hoping to push 15 minutes, but we'll see. It'll be dependent on her. Get to the bottom of the hour, or if the baby finally has a meltdown, whatever comes first. Okay. My husband is giving me the hand signals that I need to take a break so that the baby can go to bed. I will be back. Crochet, cross stitch, knit if needed. Awesome. Yay, all the crafts. I will be back. I'm going to take a bit of a break to take care of the baby, and hopefully it won't take too long, but I will be back. I will see you all soon.
tell you about a man that was scared cause he never seemed to understand. Well, he got old. Well, he got old. Let me tell you about a man that was scared cause he never seemed to find that one. He let her go. He let her go. Yeah. I run straight to the Lord. I run straight to the Lord. I run straight to the Lord. 'Cause he holds my head up high. I hold my breath. I hold my breath.
All right, and I'm back. Got the baby to sleep. She's be much happier now. Yeah. It's her bedtime. We've been pretty consistent about getting her to bed about 7:30 Pacific time, which is pretty good. It's been nice. Gives me some time to relax. Allows me to hang out with you guys. And we'll continue working on our ruffle bud on our carousel horse. There we go. Just doing a little bit of stitching here. What symbol is that? Is that a K? So I'm working on this on a hand. It could be a K. It's on a hand-drawn chart. So some of these colors, letters are really hard to read. And it might be. I'm not sure what letter that is down there. So I'm going to have to make a guess. It could be a K. There is a K nearby, so we'll see how that goes when we get to that point. Or it could be the A? Oh, wow. So tiny. So little. So one problem with this chart, it is hand-drawn, so it's a little hard to tell what some of the symbols are. So things I know I need to do. I definitely need to decide on an emote now that I can. I'm definitely going to be some kind of duck, a rubber duck of some sort. I also will eventually set up loyalty points through Stream Elements. Trying to decide what those will be cashed in for. So stay tuned. Eventually we will have loyalty points, and they will be called rubber ducks. And we will decide eventually what I will use them for. What kind of rewards I intend to set up. So stay tuned. A lot of this stuff is not going to happen until probably early June, depending on when everything kind of gets settled and how quickly I can set up my streaming space in a new place. Gonna have some new to us tables and desks type stuff. Unfortunately, my grandparents both recently passed within a month of each other, so my mom has offered up a lot of their furniture, which is in great shape, to me and my husband. So, which in some cases we really needed a few of the things, but it's still kind of sad. I'm doing okay. Better than I was a couple days ago, but definitely doing much better. So when I keep looking over here, I do have my pattern up against a magnetic board, so I can see what's going on, and definitely. So that's one thing. That's what I keep referencing when I'm looking over to the side here, so I can tell exactly what we're doing. I was seeing if any of this dark color comes into here, because I was going to also finish up a little bit of the ruffly bit around the saddle before we move, before we move completely out of the ruffle butt. Also toying with the idea of what I'm going to do to display my subs. I don't know. I know some people do knit things. Others put leaves on trees, make carrots. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do yet, but I will be writing down in my notebook before I go to bed. Deck Cujo is my first subscriber because he's awesome. Right. So we're almost done with this color in this section. Because the way this works. I could have done more of the V down here, but I think it'll be better, easier to layer it in later. Okay. Sorry, I keep losing where I'm supposed to be going. It's difficult because I'm working on an ivory color and my ruffly bits are kind of pale right now. There we go. I think getting the ruffle done before we move is a definitely achievable goal. It might be quite a bit of it done tonight, depending on how quickly I can stitch and keep where I'm going. And after this ruffle bit, then there's some flowers and then more ruffly bit, just so that we fully round out the ruffle butt of the carousel horse. Alright. Okay. I personally like to keep my backs clean, so I tend to do a lot of jumping around and skipping in terms of cutting my floss and before I move it to another area, just to help keep that back even. It's not, for me, it's not that big of a deal, but in a way it is. It makes me happy, and if it makes you happy, you should do it for cross stitching. If keeping your back neat and organized does not make you happy, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. So even though I have 7 projects in progress, I'm always thinking about which next project I'm going to start. Just the way I roll. I've got the next part of Dogs Through Time comes out on the 15th. So 15th midnight on the 15th UK time. So we'll get that here on the West Coast, California, about 4 p.m. Pacific. So I'll get to jump on that a little earlier compared to the UK. And then I'm still working on my fish for my mom, doing that stitch for her. And then got a Spring Stitch by Frosted Pumpkins. Second part's coming out on the 27th. So I've got that one to look forward to. Then I've also got part 6 of Into the Jungle, the June release. Wonder what animal we'll get to see next. I have packed up my Into the Jungle stitch along because of the move, but I do have all my cross stitch stuff is in my rolling cross stitch box that my mom got me, and a small box that isn't completely packed and sealed. After my last stream next week, before the break, I'm going to pack all of this stuff in that, which is why we're waiting so long and only having 2 projects available for the move. And because of where we are moving, I'll probably be getting to commute by train. So I'll get to do a little bit more cross stitching, which is always a plus. Cross stitch to work, cross stitch home from work, cross stitch on breaks at work, all the cross stitching all the time. And work myself out of my little cross stitching slump. Yeah, instead of cross stitching, I've been doing a little bit of World of Warcraft. Having fun working on a shaman on the Horde side. I do play both, mostly Alliance, but I have been leveling a character on the Horde side for some of my friends who play Horde side. So that'll be fun working on her instead of cross stitching as much. But it's nice when you take a break from even things you enjoy doing, such as cross stitch. Okay, so we're going to do another 2 3/4 stitches and then a little bit more of the color here. There's really none of this symbol in here at all. Okay. Works for me. And then we're going to move on to another symbol. So 3/4 cross stitch is where you do the half of the stitch and then you come back the other direction of the X to the center. So it creates these little, looks like half a square, but since it's technically 3/4 of a stitch, they call them 3/4 cross stitches, which work out really great on the even weave fabric. There we go. Alright, that's the last bit there, and looking at it, and I don't really have it well established, we're going to actually finish this color here and move on to a different color so I don't have to do quite as much counting. So I'm thinking as part of my loyalty point program, I definitely will have a redeem pick my project, and I will have a list of projects that can be worked on stream. I also want to have something to redeem if people would like something tangible other than just seeing me work on a specific project. Haven't quite decided yet because cross-stitch trinkets are kind of hard to do. Once I get into silk banner painting, I might see if there's anyone interested in maybe silk handkerchiefs that I can paint, because those are fun and easy to put together. Cujo, are you still listening? Oh, I just was asking, what about my rampant duck as a emote? Anywhere else? Okay, so I'm a bit of a heraldry nerd, and that's actually what the little green creature is below my picture. He's a heraldic beast called a Cali Greyhound, and I fell in love with him by looking at a bunch of pictures of heraldic beasts and said, "Oh, that's cool, I want one of those." There are no green ones, and there are no sleeping ones. Within the SCA, we can register our own heraldry and different badges, so that's how he came about. And it's kind of been a running joke that I wanted a rampant duck. Rampant is the pose where the front legs are up like this, and the one back leg is up, and it's looking like it's going to, like, usually lions are seen that way. So animals that have four legs, quadrupeds, are allowed to be rampant in heraldry. But ducks, which are birds, do not have four legs. They only have two and a pair of wings, are not allowed to be rampant. So I did a drawing of a rampant duck because I thought it would be funny. And it was, because I always draw bad ideas. And thinking I might turn the drawing loose to any graphic people, or maybe, because I think it's currently a JPEG. So to figure out how to get that done as my emote, my rampant duck. Because that would make sense. Duck army, rubber duck army, we have rampant ducks. Cujo, I had a bad idea. Rampant duck army. I need Ikru. Don't tell Cormac. Oh, I'm totally telling Cormac. Cormac is my friend who basically told me I couldn't have a rampant duck. So after stitching a color that kind of showed up on the fabric, I'm going back to ivory, or ecru, which doesn't show up very well. But that's okay. We're going to layer in some more stitches so that we can put in other stitches and actually establish the ruffle butt. Okay, so let's do this. We're going here. So unfortunately on the camera it's kind of hard to see what I've done stitching wise because of the neutral color. But if you do follow my Instagram, you can check out the after stream photo of what we did tonight to see a little better of what it looks like. And looking at the chart here, there's some great back stitching that's really going to help this ruffle butt pop on this carousel horse. A while back, a friend of mine asked me how much I thought, how important I thought back stitching on a pattern was. And my answer to should you back stitch if it's on the pattern is you should. The artist wanted, when I make a pattern, I kind of feel that I'm reproducing an artist's work. And the artist had a certain vision for their cross stitch, and I want to help achieve that vision. So on patterns, I feel backstitching, if it is in the pattern, is necessary. And that being said, there are beautiful patterns that don't have any backstitching in them. Working on one that is the one that's giving me a hard time, and I'm having a hard time holding my interest with it, is my ocelot. And the ocelot doesn't have any backstitching in it at all. It's really it's pretty, and the colors are gorgeous. It's just I don't know what it is about the pattern that just isn't doing anything for me anymore. And I will finish it eventually. I definitely want to get it off the list. It's actually the oldest work in progress I have right now, and it's really not that old of a work in progress. I started it in 2015. So it's not a very old work in progress, but it is there on the list, and I would like it off the work in progress list. There we go. So that I found that kind of exciting, that everything on my work in progress list I started this year. Nothing, with the exception of the ocelot, nothing is older than this year. And some of my projects I definitely will finish up this year. I will finish the fish this year. I will finish the Dogs Through Time next year because the last part doesn't come out until January of 2019. I will finish my spring stitch this year, and I will definitely finish my Into the Jungle stitch this year. Any other smaller projects that get picked up and finished would be, of course, awesome as well. A little thirsty tonight. Just trying to figure out where I'm going as we fill in this ruffle so that we have the ruffle butt on the carousel horse. Yay, carousel ruffle butt. Normally when I do a pattern, I definitely start in the middle and I work my way up to an upper left corner. With this one, I've decided I'm going to finish the carousel horse and then move to the border. I'm hoping that I don't get bored with the border, which is very easy to do with a lot of borders. This one's pretty interesting though. It's got fans and different foliage, so I'm thinking that I'll be pretty good with not getting bored working on the border. I'm also going to do this one completely cross stitch it, and then I'm going to do the back stitching. There's not a lot of confetti, so I'm not going to get too lost in the stitch work this time. Though there are a lot of Teresa Wentzler patterns that are very heavy on confetti where you're skipping around to different colors. This one doesn't seem too bad. It has segments of color as opposed to confetti, little spot here, a little spot there, a couple stitches here, a couple stitches there. This one is having more like 4 stitches here, 5 stitches over here, so they're a little more connected little splotches as opposed to a confetti, which is kind of nice, making it much easier to see where you're going and where you've been as opposed to just going, okay, I think I put this one in the right spot. There we go. Hey, it's starting to look like something. You're kind of starting to see the ruffle in there. Yay! Also, with the new space, I'm definitely going to put a bookshelf or something directly behind me, and I'm going to put my rubber duck collection, I think, behind me on stream. So we really do have a rubber duck army, or any kind of duck army. I have more than just rubber ducks. I also have a few of my grandmother's wooden ducks that are absolutely gorgeous. I've got other ducks, I've got stuffed ducks, I've got so many different ducks. You would think that I like ducks or something. I don't know. Totally hate ducks here. We don't need to talk about them at all. What's also neat about my rubber duck collection, I've got ducks that I've decorated, or decorated as we've jokingly said, and some of those are going to be able to be seen. So I do have ducks that you can't just buy in a store because I customize them myself. Getting that ruffle laid in there. Alright, where are we going next? That's finished, so we're going to go down here, and we're going to go over 2 and a 3/4 stitch. Got it. Filling in my ruffle. There we go. Filling in the ruffle butt. I have a feeling once we get this ruffle butt established, the carousel, so it kind of ruffles here, around here, and then the tail comes off here. Once that tail's established, I think we're going to really be able to tell what we're actually looking at instead of to the untrained eye, I would say this looks like a whole lot of nothing. But if you know that I'm working on the carousel horse and you know that it's a carousel horse, you definitely know that this is a saddle. But the average person who wasn't aware of that would definitely not know. But once we get that tail done, I think people are going to know it's at least a horse. And once the gold pole is in place, they'll know it's a carousel horse. All right. Let's see. And then we're going to go over here because that's correct. Yes, okay. Unfortunately, the ivory and then the white cream blend are very similar colors, and it's a little hard to tell even if I bring it up close. So, making sure things line up with other known landmarks is equally as important. All right. It's getting there, nice and steady. Okay, that's there, and then we're going to do a 3/4 stitch directly down. Excellent. Okay, so that's there, and we're going to be moving again. Oh, wait, no. That's not too far. I can actually just pick it up here before we move it. No, I think I'm going to move it anyway. Yeah. Trying to keep my back somewhat neat, so I think I'm going to move my... going to clip and move, so it keeps it somewhat neater. And I've got myself a little bit of a tangle. So getting the ruffle done. Be exciting. Wonder if I can get this little part of the ruffle done tonight. It's one other color, looks like, in there to do most of the ruffle. So depending on how late I'm willing to go, might definitely be able to get this ruffle done on stream, which would be kind of awesome. There we go. Layering it in. And actually, I might Yeah, I'm gonna carry this one over because it's just right there. And actually, the color of beige that's having me use, it's a beige brown, almost next to the ivory, and everything makes it look kind of pink. So that's kind of neat. Even though it's a kind of a beige brown, it definitely has kind of a mauve like color in it. So that's going to push that a little bit pink, which I think is kind of pretty. There we go. Ah, Sarah Nadia, thank you for the host. We're just stitching away, working on the carousel horse ruffle butt. Got some green leaves in there. Oh, don't worry about it. There was a break for the feeding the baby, and having you tune in at any time is just fine. I get it. I missed your stream completely today. Well, I popped in to say hi, and then I was gone. So it's all good. So we're doing the ruffle butt. And I may have come up with an actual emote idea. I do have a drawing. I may have to get to someone to add some color and clean up. We'll see. You're glad to be here now. Aw, thank you. You had the baby out today, though. Hashtag. I need to make ruffle butt some kind of a command with a bot. I don't know what I'll make it do, but I think ruffle butt needs to be a command. Definitely after we move and after the vacation, I definitely want to mess around with stream elements. I may be touching base with you since you've used it way longer than I have. You probably know a little more. I'm asleep. Caught the last 3 minutes of Saren's stream. Hey, welcome back, Elf. Yeah, we were out with the baby. I was out with the baby while Cujo worked on building a box fort. Because that's what our apartment looks like, is a box fort. And I'm trying not to let the idea of moving stress me out, because it always does. But we are going... I've decided that I've got a drawing of a rampant duck that I want to turn into an emote. And we'll go from there. Waiting for food at Sonic. So hungry. Oh, I haven't been to Sonic in so long. They're around, but they're not always in the most easily accessible places here. There's one over in the next town north. Northish. I do kind of want a limeade, though. I do like their limeades. And I am determined to at least finish the ruffle butt tonight. Well, this ruffle on the ruffle butt before we... There's a Sonic 5 minutes from work. Nice. I've got an in and out like 5 minutes from work. Probably takes a little longer than Sonic to get food, though. It's interesting. It looks like they missed a symbol, so I'm actually going to fill it in because the way the back stitching goes, I think it would look weird without something there. You don't know that this Sonic is slow. It's been a while since I've been to one. There's not one super convenient to where we are, so we don't usually go to Sonic. And I swear I am stitching here. I swear there is color, there's floss here. See, it's this white ecru. Unfortunately, the ruffle butt is done in a neutral color, but against the gray of the carousel horse is going to look great. But currently against the ivory of my fabric, looks like a whole lot of nothing on the camera. Once you see next week's schedule, I will probably figure out when I'm leaving my job. Yeah, not a bad idea. Given what you've said, I can't imagine. I would be so frustrated. And I know my job isn't perfect, and it's got a lot of problems on its own, but yeah, a lot of the stuff that you've said definitely would not fly even in my work environment. That's pretty solid. We're talking. Yeah. He's writing the job this much isn't good for you. It's not worth the pay. Yeah, I agree. There's been there's been days I've been like that myself, and what's kind of kept me going recently is knowing that I'm doing it for my little girl. Well, once after the move, I do want to start looking for different work because I need something different. I like my job a lot, I really do, but there are times where it's become hard. And theft is a huge issue. They had a car stolen from the parking lot. Yeah, I think you need to get out of there, Elf. I'll know you make the right decision. You're smart. Did I do that in the right place? I don't think so. Let's try that again. Oh, Saren, if it makes you feel better, this one has some of the same greens from the Goose and probably Pegasus as well. There's some 522 and some 502. All those fun colors. All those greens. Let's see. But not so much confetti. Okay. I think something that I've observed, I think artists use similar color palettes from once they like a color palette, because I've seen a lot of these colors used in Teresa Wentzler's work before. Okay, where are we going next? We're going over here. Further into the ruffle butt we go. Torture passed on to you. No, there's no green confetti in this one. No green confetti. She'll have some savings so I can find a different job in the meantime. Also possibility daycare if I don't get the dealership job. Yeah, it looks like you've got options, so that's always good. Right. I'm also planning with the new space to have a better setup for me to stitch in, so that I'm kind of leaning forward pretty heavily, and trying to keep the picture in frame has been kind of a challenge. We'll make it work, or I'll make it work. There is no we, just me. You'll ask the shift lead tonight what the pay cycle is. Hopefully she knows. Well, it's most things are every 2 weeks or every week. That's a fair question, because you do need to know when you can be able to pay your bills, because that's kind of important. So hopefully the next color I layer in doesn't is a little more visible. It's a lighter beige, and the way the beige is looking on this is looking almost kind of like a mauvey pink. Does she know when the pay period ends? Is it 2 weeks before or 2 days before payday? Yeah, I get that. Yeah, most jobs that I've seen, the pay period is Monday through Sunday, some or Saturday through Sunday, depending. Be interesting if it was something other than one of those two. There we go. Just plugging away here. I'm working in ivory, so it's a little harder to see. I apologize if you're just tuning in anytime, anyone. The sooner I work through this ivory ruffly butt on the horse, the sooner I can move into other colors where we can actually see some stitches take place. Monday through Sunday based on schedule, but how long do you take to process pay? That's a good question. My my pay period, I work pay period is Sunday through Saturday, and uh, payroll is done every Sunday, and it's paid out the Thursday. So my week that ends tomorrow, I'll get paid next week on Thursday for it. All right. So, okay, we're gonna move it again. You're stitching white of the daffodil now. I need a green break. Yeah, especially since between Naka and Pete, we keep sending you into working on Pegasus. And I feel you with the green on the goose. I was getting to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't take much more of this green. I must get through this green. I saved a little bit of orange on the last daffodil for the end, and that really kind of helped after pushing through the green. Because there was so much green. Not as much green as the Pegasus stitch, but a lot of green. But it was still super fun to stitch. The goose, and I believe the goose is in my slideshow. So he is super, it was super fun to stitch. If you happen to like the goose, if anyone likes the goose, it is Green Terrace on Etsy, and it was called Goose in Tulips, and it was super fun and a super cute stitch. It overall, it was charted really well. My only complaint is, and this seems to be common with a lot. Oh, that's fine. Gotta teach my auto mod. Yeah, but the daffodil, the goose with the daffodils and the tulips was so much fun. This chart was really easy to read. I wish that there would have been some overlap between the edges. You don't tend to get color burnt out. You get project burnt out. Yeah, I do that. I get both. I tend to get both color and project burnt out. It's usually color burnout leads into project burnt out, which I'm a little burnt on the fish, and I took a big break from the fish, so I'm kind of pushing through it, and I'm kind of getting back into it, and it's looking pretty good. I have it nearby. I'll show it off toward the end of the stream, because it is looking good, and I really am liking it. I just, but I get to the point with the bigger projects. Yeah, lack of overlapping pages throws me off. Which is why I really stuck to doing each page individually instead of carrying over into the next page, so that when I went to the next page, I had that crisp line that helped. I had to do a little bit of counting, but it really helped establish where I was. Which is also what I'm doing with my fish. The fish has no overlapping rows or columns, so I'm really having to really be careful. And normally, when I pick what color I'm going to work on, I'll start with the color in the uppermost left corner. I'll start with that, and then work my way left to right, top to bottom, but I skipped the blue to get the fish established so that I could do all the blue confetti on my fish. That is one thing nice about this pattern. There is the way it's set up. It's about the size of a piece of paper, or a little bit bigger, like a paperback, like a magazine size, and it unfolds out like 4 wide, and then it's like equivalent like 6 pages, and then the other 2 pages are on the back, but there is the shaded overlap of 4 pages or 4 lines that makes it really easy to figure out where you are when you get to that point. And even when I've done a Pokemon, I took time to mark the black stitches on the top and left sides to have reference. Yeah, that makes sense to me, so you can know exactly where you're going next. It's not as hard with a full color chart, I find, to know exactly where I'm going, because you can say, okay, this is the similar color, and you can kind of move from there. But when it's not a full color chart, I find it a little harder. So that helped a little bit with the goose, since it was a full color chart. Oh, I missed a color stitch, but I'll be picking that up again soon. So of the patterns I'm working on, 3 are not full color. Of the 4, let's see, I've got a Dogs Through Time has the option to be full color or black and white, depending on what you prefer for printing purposes or what you're doing on your tablet. Same with Into the Jungle and the Spring Garden stitch. The stitch I'm working on at work, the small stitch, is on a full color pattern. But yeah, the Carousel Horse and the Ocelot are straight black and white, and the fish is in three or four colors with symbols, which if you're not going to do a full color chart, I find that's the next best thing myself. There we go. Getting those stitches done. Really want to work in at least into the next color. That will definitely get most of the ruffle done. The ivory is taking a little longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. There we go. Keep stitching. It's funny because since I've started this and kind of have this established, I really do want to work on this off stream, but I kind of really want to have a documentation of the full stitch, and the only way I'm going to do that is if I stitch it completely on stream. But I think I'm making decent progress despite working on it exclusively on stream. Thought I had a knot going on the back. Nope, just the extra, all the fuzzy of all the different colors. Just means more streams. All the streams. I really am really thinking about, depending on how things go, trying to have a weekend stream if people are around, just because I know there's some people that I follow on the East Coast that have said they'd like to tune in, but it's harder for them because I stream so late, and that's because of the baby. And I know once she gets a little older, it'll be a little easier too. She can entertain herself better. Okay, we're getting there. I've got a little bit more left on this color. I think there's some stitches I missed down below, so we'll pick up those stitches before we move on to the next color. And then we will get that all established. Alright, so actually, I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so that's that one there. And then it's an L shape. Okay. That wasn't as hard to pick up as I thought it was going to be. Yes, more streams, all the streams. I can't live on stream though. If I end up doing daycare, maybe you can do a stream with a niece. That could be fun. Or it could be chaos. Or it could be both. That's one thing that I might be able, depending on how streams are going, I can, in the new place, I'll have a door, so I can close the door, which will help keep out some of the noise. And then my poor husband won't have to be so quiet, and the baby can be a little louder. We've seemed to pick up a decent compromise going on right now, which is good. Figure that out once everything gets established. Alright. Actually worked out really well to pick up those stitches. Definitely have other things I can stream besides cross stitch, because I'm gonna get to do some Lego build. Just those will be fun, kind of random streams that I think that will turn up. Oh, we're gonna do Lego today, and that will be kind of a surprise day of, or possibly something people can purchase with my loyalty points. I've got some ideas bouncing around in my head. I've got ideas for possible giveaway type stuff. I'm thinking about getting back into a little bit of chainmail, because I've got this kind of a keychain that's really kind of neat that I think would be fun, different colors, as a giveaway item. So definitely, I've got ideas floating around in my head, and figure out what works the best for me. I mean, right now I'm primarily doing cross stitch, but that's going to branch out and it'll become more of a variety, multimedia, creative streamer. Okay, so we're going on to, my brain is going a million places at once. 5, 4, 3. I don't think I have that color out right now. 5, 4, 3. You splurged and got a shake. Yeah, I've kind of wanted a shake the last few days, but I've been good. Maybe once there is a vendor that sells ice cream at the war that we go to, and I think I may have to get ice cream because it's tasty ice cream. I also have to remember, hey Cujo, did all the blue bottles get packed? Are they easy to get to? No, it was more of a thought of, can we get to them easily once we move? Because I want to take a couple of those blue bottles with us camping. So what I'm talking about, I've got these blue bottles that are kind of big, and there's a vendor at the camping event war we're going to that makes homemade sarsaparilla and birch beer and cream soda, and it's to die for. And they will refill your bottles for a price, per refill, but it's cheaper than buying a brand new bottle. And I've got like 2 or 3 bottles, and I keep meaning to bring them with me to events so I don't buy more bottles, because I really want some more birch beer. It is really good birch beer. I actually like birch beer better than I like root beer, and I do like root beer too. I think that's where we're going. Hey, look at that. I figured it out. Perfect. So we're laying in. This color looks this one is not quite as dark as I was hoping it would be, but it is not completely white, and it does show up a little bit better. So it's more of a beige color. It's called beige. It is beige brown ultra light. So, which kind of gives this kind of pink undertone to the ruffle, which is really, I think, is pretty. Half price shakes. Now I want to shake. Curse you, elf. I want to shake now. So yay, ruffle. It's coming along. We're getting a ruffle. Okay. I'd share, but I don't think it'd make it. Yeah, I don't think it'd make it either. That's an awful far distance to send a shake. But thank you. The thought is welcomed. I am getting kind of excited about it'll be late Monday, but the release of the next part of Dogs Through Time. I want to know which way we're going. Only like a 16-hour drive, so we could totally make it to Colorado, just for a shake, because there's no places to get shakes here, of course. I'm gonna get kind of excited about the Dogs Through Time Stitch Along release. I really am hoping. I think 80s would be neat. Heck, I'd even take. I'm trying to think. What else they could do. I mean, we've hit the big time periods. We did started with the 60s hippie dogs, and then we went to Victorian dog, and then there's Elizabethan dogs with ruffs. So who knows? Maybe some punk dogs from the 80s would be fun. Details to post as soon as we know. And then, of course, I do want to know what the next animal in the Into the Jungle Stitch Along is, but I gotta wait till the beginning. I was thinking the other way around, then you could see the boyfriend too. Hey, yeah! Not a bad idea. But gas isn't that cheap, so... We hit full-on May gray today. It was cloudy and overcast, and kind of in the low 60s, which was nice, really nice. There we go. So many three-quarter stitches in here to help give those nice curves. You could fly, but that means LAX. There's John Wayne. You could fly into John Wayne, or Ontario is not too bad. You have to drive a bit to get to LA from Ontario. And there's Long Beach. Long Beach isn't bad either. San Diego's not bad to fly in and out of, but that's kind of far if you're trying to get to the LA area. Also depends on how much you want to spend on airfare. Sometimes John Wayne's cheaper than LAX. Not always. And LAX isn't that bad. There's just specific windows that LAX is that bad. We flew out of LAX for our honeymoon, and we had friends drop us off, and a friend arrange transportation to pick us up. So we didn't drive into LA. And the 405, I mean, I've been up to the LAX area quite a bit. Two of the conventions we do are actually at the LAX Marriott. So We do that quite frequently. Good try. Could try to fly Southwest. Last we looked was $80 round trip. That's not bad at all. The last time we flew Delta. I'm not afraid of flying. I'm super uncomfortable on planes. I've never been super comfortable, so I do not hate flying. I just am uncomfortable, and it's not my preferred mode of transportation. I would rather take a train. Do realize that train travel often is more expensive, but I find trains to be super relaxing, and I can, even though I did bring cross stitch the last time I was on a plane. I cross stitched a little bit. Bought some inexpensive scissors at Daiso, which is this kind of Japanese import type place. And that way that if TSA did decide to take my scissors for my thread snips, I wouldn't be upset and heartbroken that they had taken a nice pair. And I bought I bought two pairs of cheap scissors. One went into my bag and the other was in my carry-on with my embroidery, so that if I did get it taken away from me, I could stitch at my destination. Yeah, I think definitely the next time I fly, I will have my cross stitching if I can. Give me something to do. Train is fun. We took the train from Denver to the mountains. Yeah, I've done the train from Oceanside to LA a few times. And where we're moving, we're definitely going to be, definitely going to be commuting by train as much as I can to work. Don't have to deal with the freeways then. The freeway, I don't have a problem with the freeways other than the traffic. I don't like driving on some of them because of the traffic. I'm used to how big they are. I mean, I grew up in Southern California, so dealt with a lot of different freeways. There we go. That's starting to kind of look ruffly. This will definitely be able to tell better in the Instagram photo. And I will probably post it in a Discord or two. There we go. Let's see, where are we going next? Okay, down one. It's kind of neat. There's some gaps in the stitching done on purpose between the ruffle and the leaves, which will be kind of neat as kind of these empty break points between all the stitches. There we go. Okay, so I got that done. I'm there. Oh, this is actually not turning out to be as bad as I thought in terms of my travel path of my color. There we go. And did that stitch, and we've got a couple of 3/4 stitches coming in. Okay. You also stopped and got Starbucks. Yeah, I would need so much coffee to get through, or any type of caffeine to get through a late night shift. Your head's starting to really hurt. Taken anything for it yet, or are you hoping the caffeine will help? There we go. Picking up some of those stitches. As I've proven I shouldn't be feeling it doesn't bode well means migraine coming. Oh, yeah. Hopefully the caffeine will help with the migraine. For me, it does. It also usually I need to be in a dark spot. I usually, if for me, I haven't had a migraine. I've had one migraine since I've gotten pregnant, and I made coffee for that one. And then stayed in bed in the dark room, and I did have movies on, but not super loud, just to kind of for some background noise. Got myself a small loop knot. There we go. Fix that. Dark is impossible. Worse, I'll be under fluorescent lights. Yeah, fluorescents aren't good for that at all. We've gone completely. We have CFLs here, but we've got like kind of the the cooler light CFL, so it doesn't seem so bad. It almost seems brighter than like the yellowed incandescent kind of look. Here we go. I don't tell Naka I'm putting needles in my mouth again. There we go. And just kind of fill in this little spot before we move the needle again. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get this color done tonight before we call the end of the stream. My goal was to get this ruffle of the ruffle butt done, and we are going to get this ruffle of the ruffle butt done. All right. In my effort to keep my back kind of neat. There we go. Okay, so we're going to be moving there and some more of this color. Okay. There we are. I really am loving the subtle shifts of the colors in this. I wish it was a little more visible in the on the stream because it's really pretty. But definitely once the cross stitching is done and we move into the back stitching, this is really going to pop. Let's see what color we're going to be back stitching. The ruffles are going to be back stitched in 841, and 841 is, what color is 841? I should know this. It's more beige brown. So it's going to be in a slightly darker of what color I'm using now. That will be really pretty. Okay, so we're going. This. This section has a lot of 3/4 stitches just layered in to make the ruffly bit, which will look even. You'll really be able to tell the ruffle once the back stitching rolls in. Unfortunately, I leave. You still have 20 minutes, which is wish that was still bedtime. Yeah, I know that feeling. And I'm sitting here going, I'm going to finish this color in this part tonight so that my ruffle butt is established. I tend to save all my back stitching till the end of a project. For me, it is like dessert, and I find much easier to do once it's all complete. It's been really interesting with the stitch-alongs I've been working on, doing the back stitching to me, which seems so early in the project. However, it's only in the sections that are complete. In the frosted pumpkin jungle stitch, there's very little back stitching, very minimal, just like mouths and around eyes. So that to me isn't as big of a deal. But on the dogs through time, there is so much back stitching. It really makes. You clock in at 10. Okay. That makes sense. The back stitching on the dogs through time really makes those dogs just pop. Now, and the cats, because there's a cats version. If you're more of a cat person, I personally prefer puppies. I have a puppy. It's a very large puppy, but she's a good puppy. Because to me, all dogs are puppies, even when they're older dogs. Our dog is not a physical puppy any longer. She is still a puppy, though. And she's a very good doggo. Alright, so we're going to be moving. Where are we going? Going over here. Kind of just establishing the ruffle. And we're going to see how many times that can say ruffle butt on stream. I couldn't choose. It just means they're old puppy. Yeah. All dogs are puppies. I always find it interesting the way a three-quarter stitch kind of makes a line that's really easy to see, better to see than you can tell with a actual physical full cross stitch. We need a ruffle butt counter. As long as the ruffle butt counter doesn't turn to something like a square jar, I can be on board for a ruffle butt counter. Kind of makes me want to look at the other carousel horse designs and see if they also have ruffle butts. I don't think they do, but it'd be really awesome if they did. And I'm not going to dig through my charts because they're all packed away, as tempting as it was. Wait, the hummingbirds have fuchsia in it. The hummingbirds behind me? Yes. With the, we're talking about the cross-stitch hummingbirds. It's actually right here. Those hummingbirds? Yeah, fuchsia. Yeah, has the fuchsia flower. Uh-huh. Yeah, they're actually done. They're ribbon. It's done in ribbon embroidery. I don't know if you can tell. So. There we go. It was the first and only time I've actually done ribbon embroidery was in that project. I don't even remember how to do the stitch. It was part of the pattern. It might have been a dimensions kit. I don't even remember. It was a kit. I know it was a kit. Was done so long ago. I think the date on it is 1997. It was definitely one of my first finishes. Fuchsia's your favorite flower. Yeah, they're pretty. I did it. Yeah, I remember doing it. Seems so long ago. I'm half tempted to take it out of the frame and look at the back at some point, but I don't want to. I'm sure the back is a mess for what I usually do now. But I was learning. I think it was after the Celestial Dragon that I'm like, I have to work on making my backs neat because this is ridiculous. And after doing a project that was so heavy in confetti, you could never have a neat back with confetti unless you're doing all pin stitches. And I don't know if I would have the patience to do it that way. I like a neat back, but I'm also not going to drive myself nuts with doing pin stitches or whatnot. It's not worth it. You had some fuchsia in Georgia, but they didn't come home with me. I think they died while you were deployed. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, I think my parents have had fuchsia. I'm not 100% sure. They're pretty plants. There we go. I'm so close to getting this color done. Yay! And then we'll have a ruffle. And then next week we'll get a little bit of the flowers established. I'm not 100% sure what color the flowers are. I could look at the pattern itself and figure it out, but I'm too lazy sometimes. They're probably pinks based on what the color palette looks like. Funny truth, the house you own down there would be worth more if it burned down now. Wow. Yeah, the cost of a house in Georgia is a lot less than the cost of a house here, that's for sure. I don't know if I really want to move to Georgia though. I don't know if I can handle the humidity. There we go. Okay. May not be healing raids, half asleep. Cal didn't die, but I think others did. I blinked a lot. I've done that. I have kind of auto healed. Been banking for 5 years, and someone sold the entire air conditioning system weeks after I moved out. Wow. I got my shaman to, I think it was 64 today, Saren. I'm working on it. And ran dungeons that I was failing with the other day with different tanks, and I was like, definitely not me if thank goodness for Healbot, got that working again. I've actually never used Healbot. I've kind of done it manually. Should probably look into that if I'm gonna consider raid healing again. All right. So I got a little bit here and some stitches I missed the last time I used this color. And that might be it. I did get up early today because of the baby, but that's normal. So unfortunately that makes me tired sitting here stitching. But I am having fun and I'm enjoying the conversation and rattling on about nothing and everything all at once. If we were all in the same data center, boyfriend would have had and I would have had a raid group, but they're in different server grouping and cross servers won't work. Yeah, it's a little better with some crossover rating now. I think the biggest thing is just guild stuff. I think you can pretty much cross raid almost anything now. I don't know for sure, I'd have to double check. Oh yeah, Battle.net has opened up so much with WoW, it's great. I can even talk to my friends who are playing things like Overwatch and Diablo. Oh, Final Fantasy, not WoW. That makes sense. I got confused. Yeah, I used to be in the same way in WoW. You could only raid on your server. Even though they eventually had battle groups like for battlegrounds and whatnot, you still couldn't cross raid with those. They're on European servers, not American. Yeah, that would be a problem. Okay. So I missed some stitches the last time I used this color, and we're going to pick those up. There we go. We have servers and data centers. We now can cross server raid, but not cross data center raid. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense to me. Okay. There we are. All right. Well, that's going to be that for this stream. There it is. You can kind of see the ruffle butt there. It's actually not so bad. I got camera shadow there, but you can really see it there, the ruffly ruffle butt. And so these little green parts are leaves. There's going to be flowers and more ruffles that come around this part here. The horse's tail comes out here. So the plan for next week is to to stream at least one, hopefully 2 days. I really am hoping I can do that. That's really gonna stream for sure Wednesday. Thursday will depend on how much packing we get done tomorrow. Working on getting the bedroom packed up. But I did want to show where I am on the fish. So have been working a little bit on the fish. There we go. And we're moving into the next part of the fish. So here we are. The last part is up here, and I'm working into this red and red-orange on the fish. Stream raids. Yeah, I could stream raids. Definitely could. As long as everyone in the raid group was okay with that. May have to mute Discord or mess with audio settings to make sure that all of Discord is in there. But yeah, we could totally stream raids. Well, and that's going to be it for me tonight. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad everyone could join me. So, thank for those of you who. So, Saren, thank you again for the host. Cujo, thank you for the sub. My first sub is my husband. And Cujo and Elf, thank you for the bits. It's appreciated. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm so excited that we're kind of at this point where just kind of just keep plugging along and having fun and see what happens. So everyone have easier for you than me to stream them. Oh yeah, well we'll see how my internet is out where we're moving because I mean the internet's amazing here. Hopefully it carries to be as good out there. So we'll have all kinds of new trials and tribulations out there. Yay! Caught my first affiliate stream. I'm official. I'm a person. Well, I was a person before, but I'm a person now. Yay! All right, everyone. Have a good night. I appreciate everyone joining me. And don't stay up too late. I was thinking, let's see, is there anyone live right now? I wanted to see that. Look at anyone live. Send a raid over their way. Oh, Fishhead's live. I will send a raid. We're going to raid Fishhead. And I'm going to raid over to Fishhead. All right, everyone. Have a good night. And we'll see you over at Fishhead.